up on the Facebooks and we're
Oh,
now
yes,
Be getting a little live streamy message right there.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
people to come in, but we will get started. Well, ladies and gentlemen,
Message right there.
Whoops, sorry.
Stick that over there.
Next
You guys
episode
are
of
over there.
Cantina Watch Along, our final episode before Star Wars Celebration next week, which is absolutely insane in that capacity that we are a week out from Bunta Eve in London, as well as Star Wars Celebration. I'm Spencer. I'm one of your hosts for the evening. Our producer is Dave. How are you, sir?
Good evening. How is everyone doing this evening?
Doing great. And we got Jeff Solo over there. How are you, sir?
Good. Rocking some old school bounty hunter video game hat and my extremely old episode 1 shirt. This is more in honor of Ahmed, but that's not this episode.
Fantastic. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we introduce our guest for the evening. As we mentioned, a week from tonight is Bunta Eve in Canary Wharf, London. It's the official kickoff to Star Wars Celebration. Come join us with a number of actors throughout the entire saga, some karaoke, Blues Harvest, and then we got 4 great days of Star Wars Celebration. Jeff and Dave, I can't believe we're a week out from Bunta and Celebration.
Yeah, I know. It's just absolutely crazy that things are coming that fast.
It's good to kind of get over the hump in a sense, but also it'd be cool to be going and then be experiencing the madness of the actual event. Leading up to it's been pretty crazy, but I'm sure the actual Bunta Eve will be amazing.
Absolutely. So let's get jumped into this. I am very, very excited to welcome this guest to the virtual cantina for the first time. He is known as the Pirate Vane, who has a little bit of beef with Beef Karga, as we saw at the beginning of this season, just a little bit. And he seems to be working for a human salad. So let's welcome our newest member to our virtual cantina family, Marty Martellus. Marty, how are you, sir?
Hey, gentlemen, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here. Very excited about this. Kind of like the vibe with the see-through headphone clamps.
Very
Zoom thing, but yes.
We're very excited that we're going to be bringing you on for this episode. Obviously, no spoilers, but obviously Bane is involved in this episode. If you have any
He might be.
If you have any questions for Marty, how can the crew reach out to?
Dial 1-800 Spencer Gowitz.
Okay.
Yes.
It's like blow up his phone. No, if you have questions for Marty, please. We're monitoring over here the Facebook chat, and we're monitoring over there the YouTube channel chat. You can ask those away. Also, if you are watching this on demand later, and we periodically monitor this, and if we have the answers elsewhere, or we'll filter them back through Marty through channels and stuff, and we may get back to you on those too. So don't let the fact that you're watching this at a later date stop you from asking questions. We're still there. We're still monitoring. So we'll get those done.
So I'm going to start the questioning in an interesting fashion, as opposed to going in the route of your Star Wars fandom. But looking at your IMDb, you got a number of credits of hawking the truck out there.
Of what? Sorry.
You seem to hawk the truck a lot in your resume. Did a lot of Trek going back a number of years up until Picard. What has been like to been part of the other fandom?
Fun as well. That was more of a stumble in early on in my career. Oh, look at that! Someone's got a spaceship. Very nice.
He's a huge Trekker.
It was great. Like, I grew up with both franchises. I mean, as a kid, it was squarely Star Wars, but then as Trek came along, I had a genuine appreciation for that as well. That was early on, just kind of getting my feet wet around Hollywood, doing background work, just trying to figure out how to be on a set, how to be a professional. And a couple of those jobs came up. I think I was in the Baku tribe as my first foray in the Star Trek world, and it turned into this summer-long gig out in the Baku tribe village, and we ran up to Mammoth and were plopped onto a mountaintop. Like it was a long gig, and made a lot of friends and got some great experience from that. And then the makeup artists that I met on the next gig as the Remans are the ones who kind of, that's where my world kind of expanded and solidified as I met these makeup artists who like, you know, certain body types, certain temperaments in their makeup chairs, and the ability to walk, talk, and chew gum at the same time. So that has led to what you saw on the IMDb, largely through those relationships with these amazing makeup artists that I've worked with.
Well, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you have a lot of sci-fi horror-esque credits within your IMDb, including a character in Studio 666, which a lot of us are Foo Fighter fans. So it was very
Nice.
good to see that one.
Who doesn't want to get their face beat to a pulp by Dave Grohl?
He was probably very
fun.
nice about it in the long run as well.
He could not have been a kinder, more down to earth guy. He was just one of the guys. Everyone was having fun making that project.
And that was like one of the last projects before the untimely passing of Taylor.
Yeah.
1 year out from his death now. So
Yeah, that was horrible, shocking. Like another just genuine, really sweetheart of a guy.
Were you a Foo Fighters or Nirvana fan before you went and worked this job?
Ish. I wouldn't say fan, like didn't have the full discography on command, but loved their stuff as I heard it. And growing up in Orange County, California, I think, you know, I was kind of in that Oingo Boingo realm, and certainly had an awareness, but grunge, I was a little late to the table on it, but appreciate their stuff.
So what was your entrance into the Star Wars world? You know, what brought you in as a fan?
Well, I was 7 years old and my mind just got blown apart when this destroyer came overhead. Like I was in that absolute sweet spot, 7-year-old. What was that? First grade, second grade, kind of in that zone, and just blew my mind. I didn't understand what I was seeing for the longest time. And then of course the toys, and then of course everyone in school. I was in a small town school in South Dakota, and that was everybody's world except for the Ewoks. I don't know what was going on with the Ewoks. Sorry, Dave. Sorry. Oh man, I'm sorry. I didn't want to. Did I touch something
you hit
sensitive?
a certain age with the Ewoks, as did I. I was like, I think I was 14 when Jedi came out, and the Ewoks were just a little too cutesy. You know, they might have been great when I was an 8-year-old seeing the movie the first time, or the original movie the first time. But yeah. Although
I was curious, like I was interested in what they
nowadays.
were. Yeah, they're great. Like I don't have the big Ewok issue. Honestly, the biggest issue I had was Chewbacca doing the Tarzan yell across to the ATST, and that was my first cinematic wounding that I can really recall. Choices. People make choices, you know.
Indeed.
So a typical question we've asked a lot of your colleagues in the past was, a lot of times they walked onto the set not realizing that they were involved in the Star Wars. Was that the same thing with you?
That they didn't know that they were involved?
Star Wars.
Star Wars in general.
Well,
like originally.
I think like for the audition process for Vane, is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Or when you walked on set.
Oh yeah. It was weird because the first thing we did was the Navarro stuff, and I don't know how much you know about how they're set up, but to keep the interest outside of the production, they've got it kind of surrounded by these giant containers, and like they're a bit cordoned off. So the initial thing was just driving up in a van, a very normal van, getting to a very normal trailer. But then someone came up and was like, Mr. Weathers would like to run lines with you, if that's okay. And like, I forget what I look like because I'm just looking out of my own eyes, but I'm like, Carl Weathers wants to run lines. Yes, please have Mr. Weathers in. That would be lovely. So seeing him all dressed up, ready to go, starting to run the lines, and then it starts to sink in. You know, you don't really get a full sense because the excitement of the day kind of glitches you out, and then suddenly you see, well, there's an alien I recognize. Oh yeah, look at me. I'm an alien I recognize. But then baby the little Grogu comes out in his pram. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in Star Wars. It was the best. It was absolutely the best day. I had a great time.
It's-
Pinching myself still.
it was great. It was great to see, your scene initially in that episode, talking about how the school was a bar, and
He's adamant about that.
well, he's very adamant about that. He's like, he's not moving without a drink in the school.
He's got issues. He got issues.
It was great, but it was also very interesting, because I know that when we first saw the Pirates, we saw, your Weequay type character in the Star Wars lore. Everybody's like, oh my God. At first, they think it was Hondo, which was very popular in the animation from the. Was that talked about?
Rightly so. Rightly so. Loved his character. Great character. Yeah, there was. I was only aware of that as the build up to this was coming out, and they were starting to leak out images, and like the teaser trailer came out, and it was like, there's that internet chatter, and people are like, "Is it Hondo? Is it him?" And I was like, "No, it's me." Hoping that he'd stand on his own piratey feet.
Yes, he definitely has that, but it's very, very interesting element, and I love hearing those stories about you stop being a fan and still have your time to geek out because like you said, Apollo Creed wants to run lines with you.
Yeah, and like throughout the day, that was my that was my touchstone. When you're in the scene, you're doing the scene. It's kind of like any other gig. Like you have the peripheral awareness of what you're doing. Obviously, you don't think you're an alien, but even so, you're doing that work. So every time we would cut, we'd be in between takes. That's when I would take it in, and it would kind of represent itself that, holy crap, I'm in Star Wars, and there's Carl Weathers right there. He's walking towards me again. Hey, Marty, you want to run lines? Yep, I do. I do want to run lines, Carl.
Well, that was
God.
As well, is that like your big first shootout, not only with Carl, but you're with Brendan Wayne. So you're basically there, against the Duke's grandson in a shootout. That must have been like, okay, that's kind of surreal in itself.
It was the best. And I love what they did in the edit. Like when Mando gets a sense and he kind of like leans off the tree and you hear his Beskar go like, oh shit, it's gonna happen. Yeah, it was fun. And Rick was there directing, and I love how he very much gave that Sergio Leone-esque kind of pacing through the edit too. Like I think we played the scene a bit quicker, and they extended it in post to kind of stretch out that moment, and it was really lovely. That was the audition piece too, like with different dialogue, but it was kind of like the that shootout scene and the drinking in the bar and whatnot. And though it was different dialogue, I did have a sense like it smelled a bit Star Warsian. So I may have put laser blasts at the very end of my audition just because totally.
We have asked and heard from so many people. It's like, do you actually say the pew pews and make them edit them out? We totally do all the time.
I was worried. I was envious of the people in helmets. It's a tempting thing for sure. I'm glad no one put a laser sword in my hand, or I would have been zooming all day long.
As you should.
So we're going to be watching, as I mentioned before, chapter 21 of the Mandalorian season 3, and it's been a different feel of the past seasons. Were you a fan of Mandalorian before you got the gig?
Oh, loved it. Yeah, loved it. I've followed Jon Favreau's career. I've enjoyed all the things he's done. And then as soon as Mandalorian came out, I was there that first episode, saw exactly what he was doing, and I was completely down for the ride, and have enjoyed it since. It's a lot of fun. I still imbue a sense of danger, but fun, like all the good stuff about Star Wars. Like it's a little bit crunchy and rusty and dangerous, but hopeful and fun as well.
One of the last episodes, a lot of people called the Mandalorian because it had a very much of a feel of Andor, more very character-driven base and a lot darker theme element. Now, were you able to catch Andor?
I've watched Andor in its entirety 3.5 times through.
So I guess you liked it.
Love Love Andor. I'm a 52-year-old, 5-year-old boy now. So Andor is now the sweet spot. Character development, leisurely pace, action when you need it, not hitting you over the head with it. So good. Absolutely loved it. And I thought it was cast to perfection. I know they mined the London theater scene and like, come on. I'll watch Denise Gogg read a phone book. She's so like just still and dangerous, and getting to see Mon Mothma in her world, like that sense of just impending doom as you see that your world is going to be upended, and they give it the time to breathe. And I mean, we could make the whole thing about Andor. I love that series.
And it was,
but I think that's what's really great about the Mandalorian series is where we get Star Wars, we get the spaghetti Western, and now they're introducing and they're using that Andor format. That's why, I don't get the hate that some people had on why'd you have the Doctor and a Coruscant all through the. No, all want all of the things.
It's tough. You start with your world building and everyone gets really excited that that's the thing. It's like the Matrix, right? The first one is just iconic. It's groundbreaking. It's world building. And then you move on with your stories and your adventures within the world. I'm sure there's a lot of people who would just love it if it was every single episode about Mandalorian and Grogu just zipping around in space doing their thing. But it's part of a bigger universe. And I really appreciate the interconnectivity as little Easter eggs are dropped in and little threads are sewn through it. Sticking with that analogy, it's just a bigger quilt and they're starting to show more of it. I'm excited about that.
It's a big purple Easter egg that we have in this episode that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Sweet. Good.
Which, us collective fans who watch the extended version of the Filoniverse freaked the hell out at 3:00 in the morning. But we'll talk about that. But you're talking about the interconnectivity that you're mentioning. I think that's something that's great about what Dave is doing. Having been the Padawan of the maker George Lucas himself, is just the interconnectivity of everything from the prequels all the way through to the sequel era, and then everything that Dave has actually brought into Star Wars in the last, close to 20 years. I mean, we're 15 years, of the Clone Wars right now. So it's pretty how it's all like everything he's done with George has now come to fruition in another element and another level, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, that trio, having Filoni alongside him for so long and having such an encyclopedic, not just an encyclopedic knowledge, but a really deep foundational understanding of what George, his intention is, not just the nuts and the bolts, but like if you've watched the behind the scenes stuff for Mando and you see that speech Filoni gives toward the end of one where he's kind of starting to say, no, this is what I feel like it's about. And he starts weaving this thing about Anakin becoming him and then Luke and like the father-son dynamic, made me cry like that. He gets the heart of everything. And obviously Ahsoka, masterstroke, creating the heart of that entire series in her, like so good.
Well, we're starting to see the threads for the next series, which is very, very exciting with Ahsoka. I'm very fortunate that I was able to get a ticket for the panel for Ahsoka in London. So I'm very excited to see
you need a ticket for the panel?
You had to do a lottery for the major panels. For the big panels, you had to do a lottery. So
you got a +1? You know what I'm saying?
So I'm obviously very, very excited.
Bob's your uncle.
Who else, is announced from there? Because we've only been told who is playing Sabine and who is Ahsoka at this time, and now we'll talk about the purple Easter egg a little bit later on tonight. But so you've worked so far in this season with two incredible directors. Did you have much interaction with Dave and John while you were on set?
I had Rick directing me for the shootout. Jon Favreau was there on the day, first episode, kind of overseeing and blocking and talking and helping, and they were both great. They're also just down to earth, very lovely, intelligent children who understand exactly the playground that they're in. For the stuff in 5, that was actually all the spaceship things we shot later, and it was so rushed and so dark and so second unit. I don't recall who was doing what at the time, except like go get in that cockpit and fly around. So that's a bit of a blur. But the first day, yeah, it was mostly Rick. And to be honest, the Vane was intended to be a one-off. He was going to die at the end of that scene, and that morning, John said, "So, okay, he's gonna just shoot the gun out of your hand because that's a cool looking alien," and then he just kind of wandered off. So that's how I knew that there was potential in this Star Wars universe for old Vane.
Yeah, but you mentioned that the shooting the hand, which was something we were talking about in the episode, which was very much we thought was a callback to the Waco Kid from Blazing Saddles.
Nice.
Gene Wilder character when he shot all the bad guys in the hand. That's a typical good guy trope, really. Not
Right.
really shooting, but actually shooting the hand to prove a point, if you will.
Yeah, and also not commit bloody murder in front of a school children's place of education, which was a good move on Grief Karga's part. Until
you told Mando that when he took out the rest of your crew.
Mando's a little more rough around the edges, and there was some trash to be taken out. What's he gonna do?
Yeah. So was there any either part of your costume or your prop that you really enjoyed working with?
I love that coat. I'm wearing about 5 couches worth of upholstery in all of that wardrobe. Shauna and her team built this ridiculous layered, textured parts and pieces costume, and that high collared coat is a little bit more like a vest. The rest of it comes out from under the sleeves. But man, to get into character, you hear actors say, "Well, I have to do this thing," and then I'm in character. I would just like, bam, just fit that collar and make it stand up. And Vane was ready to go. Love that thing. I don't think they're going to let me have it, but if I could, I probably would.
Well, Sean is extremely talented. In Anaheim last year during Celebration, they had the Mandalorian experience where they had a lot of her costumes on display. And unfortunately, I was not there, but everybody said that it was absolutely incredible to see the detail.
Oh, yeah.
Into that. And, all the care, but also knowing her audience and knowing their, they're fans of all kinds of genres. And I know, like on social media after the Convert episode, she talked about Pershing's jacket was very much Blade Runner. So she was taking from other sci-fi, which is pretty awesome because, like I said, we're all around the same age bracket. So this is like all of our sweet spot right now as far as the film is concerned.
Yeah, it's lovely stuff. If I may, I'd like to start an Easter egg hunt for Vane's costume. There are things about his costume that do hearken to other properties, just to indicate where he's been and what he's done. I don't think everything made it on. There were a couple of extra bits and bobs that were there, but there's definitely, I'm thinking of something in particular about his costume that is recognizable if you catch it, if you're in the right frame of mind to pick up the Easter egg on that.
Dave, you're all about that.
Well, I thought
I'll just drop that there. Let's see how it goes in the episode.
Really would harken to kind of a deep cut for the Disney afternoon from the 90s. Is it looks very the Sky Pilots from Tailspin. If you ever saw that show, anybody see that one?
Nope.
So Tailspin is taking the Jungle Book characters and putting them into
that's right.
a modern spin.
Yeah.
It's Baloo as a pilot, does this cargo thing. But the lead Sky Pilot is this big fox, and he has that big collared jacket. I think it's the same color in my memory, at least. I don't know. It's kind of a Disney deep cut. Go back and check that one out.
I will, definitely. If there's no lore attached, I mean, you just started it here. So who's to know?
There it is. Lila has
the
a
first one.
comment, a question over here in the chat. She's like, so share your thoughts a little bit. The first time you saw yourself decked out in that full costume, is like how did that inform your performance, or just what did you think?
Who's the question asker?
Lila.
Lila?
Yes.
Yeah, Lila. Awesome. Great question. And I was wondering how exactly I would come to the character. You know, there wasn't a lot in the description. He was British and he was a pirate and he's in space, and then go. So in the wardrobe fittings, I was getting a sense of kind of how many layers and what the overall look was, and then the weight. So when I first tried on some shoes, they were kind of like light, spacey, almost like sneaker boots. And they didn't quite fit. So we swapped them out and they ended up giving me some really big, heavy soled, like clompy boots with the 20+ pound costume. Once I got that on, I just started kind of walking back and forth. All of that weight really didn't form how I moved. And there was like that swagger that I think he has when he's walking around. That's just what happened in the window. Like he's carrying a lot of weight on his wardrobe. He's very proud of it. And that definitely informed how I ended up moving for the character.
Very cool.
I was actually going to comment earlier that you had a certain swagger walk when you were walking through the streets of Navarro.
He's a cocky bastard, that Bane.
Yeah.
I mean, deservedly so. I mean, he's really cool. He knows it.
His title is Space Pirate.
That's true.
He is the personification of the space pirate.
Yes. So we're about the top of the hour.
Yes.
So everybody can make sure that you have the D+ all queued up. We are going to do chapter 21. So does everybody have it all set up?
Yes, sir.
Hidden
Holding
close.
steady at 000.
Grab my earbuds.
Oops. And then it just did that.
Here.
Back.
Good to go.
All right, everybody set. Everybody set out there in Facebooky YouTube land.
I believe so. So we're gonna go with the 10-second countdown of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Indeed.
That's when your iPad freezes.
There's always buffering.
I'll have to say, because I know obviously I saw that you did some stuff in Picard season 1 and 2. Between Mando season 3 and Picard season 3, the fandom has never been better. Like there's some incredible television going on there.
If you're having issues playing, we can pause for a second, Marty.
It finally jumped in. It's rolling at like 15 seconds in the recap.
We're
With
at about
pause.
30, 40 something, 40.
Okay, I'll start
44
skipping
right
up. You're where?
I am currently at 50.
Yes.
Okay.
Closing in on a minute.
Okay, so we see you
Right
now.
there you are.
All right. 57.
All right.
Oh, come on, play. You can do this. Minute 10. Is that about where we're at? He just ran away.
Everybody
Perfect.
went down.
Yes, you just ran away.
Good to go.
Now you're chasing the N1.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's Salad Face.
Is that the hashtag he's left with now?
It's slightly better than Pizza the Hut. We'd get sued for that.
Lucasfilm logo, yeah.
Yes, sir. Right on.
All right, caught up.
It's interesting that Carrie. Did you work with Carrie at all?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he was around for that.
It's interesting that he has personified such big and, in many cases, leafy characters recently. because he was Man Thing in Werewolf by Night, or what was it called? Werewolf, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And of course, Black Chrysanthemum.
That was a cool design. Love that thing too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so what was it, Jeff? Did you watch the Screen Crush where Ryan Arias says, "Why the hell did they not do like Sims?" And Power
Anybody
Line?
who's played Sim City knows you set up it this way, and now that was pretty funny. The urban planning thing.
Sliding his business around until his comfort zone arrives, which is a little danger. That's such a cool design on that ship.
Yeah.
I want the Lego. When that Lego comes out, I'm down.
It kind of has a little bit of a Star Trek feel, if I don't say myself.
Right. It's a bit Romulanian, isn't
Kind
it?
of has the bird of prey kind of thing going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although it is very warsy, so that's all that matters.
Bartlett's copper droid.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I laugh every single time that droid comes up. He's so oops.
Yeah, Chris does an amazing
So twitched out. I love him.
He is, C3PO to the nth degree for sure.
Yeah. Got his neuroses firmly intact.
And how another thing that I saw in one of the shows is how the villains like to look bigger in a holographic video. Like, you have Palpatine in Empire, you have Snoke in Force Awakens, and then you got Shard right here. Just like
they said it that way. They sit this close to the camera just to be intimidating.
Imposing.
I like the retro TV design look that they're getting on those holograms.
Yeah, the sort of sketchy signal thing going on.
Yeah,
and the
it's
lines
elevated
for sure.
and highlight blowout. It's like the high-tech, low-tech version of what we grew up with.
this ruse that Grief is saying is like, we're under protection of the New Republic, and like 2 episodes ago, he's like, yeah, we want nothing to do with them. We're them the nation. So it's like,
yeah, tossing some cards out. Doesn't have a lot in his hand, but he's working it.
yeah. Oh, he just talked about Sabak, so there you go.
Mhm.
Now, my understanding is Legacy made a fully functioning head for Grief. I'm always curious, like what portion might be CG, if any, or if it's all like Legacy's magic. Is he looks really like
John
the way his
Rosengrant's-
mouth moves is great.
John Rosengrant's studio is just fantastic.
No, those citizens are smart getting out of the way of a ship like that.
I like how he says, I don't want to hear from you again unless it's to surrender. And then he just says, screw it.
Starts firing. Yeah.
And we're going to just shoot.
It's kind of remind me of, remember if you've seen Captain America Winter Soldier, when they brought up the carrier where they were going to be shooting down anybody that was on the Hydra or Shield list. And that's what they were doing.
Oh, and then other C series droid or whatever.
Yep. Another protocol droid. Was that the teacher or somebody else? That was the variation.
I didn't think.
Wait,
No, that was the one that was in episode 1 of this.
Yeah, that was Chris's character in episode 1 when he was walking down the streets before the pilot.
Is that the white protocol droid?
Yes.
Yeah.
A pirate.
I like how Shard's ship has the way the guns come out. They're kind of reminiscent of a galleon with cannons.
Right.
So opening up the hatch and there's your gun poking out kind of thing.
Cannonball as turret gun.
This is they actually said psychedelic rock music, and you got
I noticed that. I'm going to start watching these with the credits on more often. They're hilarious, and they do.
Oh yeah.
Give
it's
you some information.
It is very informative and amusing at the same time. So this is
Dave,
great.
very pronounced. You see his hat. You see Rick.
Filoni's hat.
Yep. And,
Rick, Deborah.
Yeah,
and
just
you
chilling.
got Steve right there.
Do you know who's in that? The bartender?
Isn't that Misty Rosas?
Must be.
Yeah, I think she
Would hope so.
Misty, because Misty was like the Smee type character on the big ship later on as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, Grief doesn't have any ego on his FaceTime calls. He's a reasonable size. He's looking straight ahead. He's just giving the information.
I love that they featured Paul in this episode. He's just so awesome.
Great episode for him. Hey, who's that guy?
That's
So
a cool alien.
they did such a great job making Zeb live action. Like,
yeah, it looks great. It's so well integrated into. I don't understand how this is television. I mean, what is television anymore? But the quality of that is ridiculous. He's in the world. Like the lighting's perfect, the skin texture's perfect. He's there.
Yeah, I don't even fathom how they did that. I assume some of it is practical and some of it is CG, but just, wow.
ILM's killing it.
And it was great that they brought back Steve Blum to do the voice. So that was, that was
Exactly.
Well, that was the selling point. That's what made everybody go, is it Zeb? Is it Zeb? Is it Zeb? Because I was like, I had to stay to the credits.
Once you hear his voice, though, it's like it has to be Zeb. They can't all sound like Zeb. Maybe they have a similar kind of inflection, but and here's Tim Meadows being Tim Meadows in space.
Katie is awesome.
And his the desk jockey Rodian was, I think, Dawn again.
Yeah, I think so.
It's absolutely hilarious that the Star Wars universe is still working on like 3 1/4 floppies. That's basically what all those things are.
I think Dawn's the resident Rodian, isn't she?
Yeah, she's pretty much the Rodian.
Yeah, I saw that in the credits. I looked for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys already parsed what his patches are all about? Do we know what's going on with his insignias?
I just know that I want that jacket.
It's a pretty slick flyboy jacket.
I find the insignia that Tim has on, that whole style, kind of interesting, where it's very much like dice, kind of. Like that's almost like if you put another one up, it's a 5. Somebody else had a single dot. The guy that was giving Pershing his cards.
Well, see, I think I totally got like another vibe from it, Jeff, because I was just looking at the materials and how they're saying what they're saying about the bureaucracy and how imperial that insignia is. I mean, it's the same materials, except instead of squares, it's that same.
Oh yeah, it's circles.
It's circles.
It's a square instead of a rectangle. Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing.
Now he really clocks her insignia with that nice big close-up of the red and the white lines. Do we know what that's to imply, or is it her position currently as a former Imperial?
That's an Arabesh character. I can't remember what the letter is.
Oh, is it?
I think it, but I think in the the Long Coruscant episode, that was really symbolic of that. Tells you that she's former Imperial, and that's what he was kind of looking down at.
Right. I think her and Pershing both had a similar kind of insignia. I wonder if that's
I may have downloaded a graphic of that alphabet, so maybe when I was on set, I could go around and look and see. Of course,
all you have to do is if you've ever been to Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland or Hollywood Studios in Florida, they have incorporated the alphabet into the Disney Play app, so you can actually translate things in world. So you can even have it on your phone without having to, already.
Well,
also, there's
too. I think if you happen to make it to London and find one of our members, I've seen that they're giving away swag that is like a little Arabish decoder card.
Yeah, so a buddy of mine did that and was selling them on Etsy, where they were like it was more like a substantial kind of piece, but it had like Imperial logo or Rebel logo on one side and then Arabesh characters on the other with their American English counterpart. So
Marty, do you trust Kane over here? She seems to be yeah.
Oh yeah, totally, 100%. No, she's oily as can be. Look at that side look.
The more
she's up to no good.
Like the more she leans into it, it's the more obvious she is not.
These biscuits.
Yeah, that's great. I hope at some point someone's over at the water cooler watching her to make her look so just scared.
I'm sure somebody's going to do that, like behind the scenes of that scene already sometime.
It's very interesting to see a guy walking this kind of terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, curious choice to head out there onto the lava fields and hide in a cave, wait it out.
Caves seem to be a popular location to go kind of hang out in this season.
Mhm.
I'm like, is that the cave that the Mandalorians are in?
Wouldn't it
Wrong
be
beach.
great to have old school viewfinders?
Mhm.
It's,
Anything that's got that kind of retro, kind of analog feel is very cool. They did the digital analog thing before digital was really a thing.
Well, it's artifacts of the fact that this sci-fi originated in the 60s and 70s. That's very much the first officer science or science station, whatever viewer on the desk for Mr. Spock.
Mm.
I've been enjoying how the spacecraft in I don't know if it's just this season, probably the whole series has a bit of that kind of atmospheric condensation trails off the tips of the wings. So looks
there's a lot
cool.
of-
Also helps you place it in the sky, like that
Right.
stuff.
Yeah, it definitely looks cool. I'm all aboard.
The space battles this season,
Oh,
off the charts.
I was just sitting here like the entire time going, wait, that's a bad place to park. Oh, don't park in the water.
yeah, don't get too
Wait.
close.
Too
You might
close.
attract the wrong.
Gonna have to get Bo-Katan's winch, get you out of that.
Death Gator's still sitting in there, so
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. I was like, whoa.
It's interesting how clear that water is right there, considering they were so easily kind of surprised by the attack of that creature at that one point. Anyways,
I love how Paz is basically like the enforcer for them.
Teaser trailer shot there. So that's Tate in the Paz outfit, yeah. Lovely.
And that's its voice now, yes, as well, I believe.
Oh, is it? Great.
I think so.
Such cool
That's what
design.
I've seen on some of the StarWars.com is
Hmm.
it's definitely different than it used to be.
But yeah, how great was that? He's like, yes, I got tipped off by an old friend from the rebellion that works with you. Oh, hey, R5.
like
Hey,
which
buddy.
Mando's gonna be like the stool pigeon, and it's like, oh, never mind, it's the droid.
Yeah, I was worried it was going to be like Bo, and that was going to be like put her on the outs with the thing. But then R5, yeah.
Well, that's what he was saying when he flew over. He saw Bo's ship. And he's like, "There you are." So that was like a red herring in itself.
Yeah, like somehow he was tracking her specifically, but yeah, not the case.
Are you liking her ship design, gentlemen?
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the one thing I'm
Very
loving
maneuverable.
about what they've been doing is not only her ship, but also like when in season 2 we got to see inside of Slave One. I'm going to call it
Mhm.
Slave One. That we
Yep.
see when we were kids. So
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, seeing the inner workings of Slave One after you've been like, how does he get in that position in the cockpit?
Right.
Walks in a different way and the ship lands like this, but he's flying it like that. And it's like, okay, thank you for the answer. Very cool.
So great that we have the time to explore those things.
Oh yeah, the minutia that somebody, the average, watcher wouldn't necessarily get the same kind of enjoyment or, whatever out of it.
So as an old school fan, were you happy to find out how Fett got out of the Sarlacc pit?
I was. Yeah, I wish they would have even spent more time on it. We always wondered, we always heard stories, there were rumors, but yeah, it was great to see them treat that in a good way and to see the wreckage of the skiff behind. Like all of that was really, really satisfying to watch.
Yeah. I love how they basically their talking stick is basically Armor's hammer.
Mm,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
almost kind of also reminds me very much of when 3PO is telling the story of Star Wars to the Ewoks and Jedi.
Hmm.
I want to
Yeah,
see
it
the
adds to the depth
Mandalorian.
of their mythology and the kind of the ritualization of he who holds the conch has the power. Like
Exactly.
the dark saber is obviously key. Her hammer obviously holds a lot of power within the tribe. It's
Yeah, but
I like that lore.
but I like the lore, but wouldn't the dark saber trump that in theory?
Trump the hammer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I think it's leadership, top dog power versus hey, I've got something to say.
Yeah, exactly. It's just listen to the person with the hammer versus do everything that the guy with the sword does or says. What I want to see is the behind the scenes of all these helmeted Mandalorians stumbling around in the dark because they can't see out of those
Right.
visors.
So
Yeah,
if you
that's
could be
Really
any
good vision.
character in the Star Wars universe besides Vane, who would you want to be? Or it could be another creature.
Oh wow. Good question. I mean, I was obsessed with Boba Fett as a kid. He was a bad dude.
Those are good
I always
ones.
had a thing for Bosk in Empire.
Oh
Loved
yeah, I
it.
love
Wait,
Bosk.
oh, who's Boba Fett?
He's
Yeah,
got the autos of all
lots
the
of good
Boba Fett
props.
on it.
Yeah, this is
Nice.
my Boba Fett cast piece.
Oh, nice. You got a bunch on there.
Yes.
Very cool.
Love this,
Regrettably started, of course,
Boba
after
Fett, a
Jeremy
pretty nice
passed.
tribute to the original coming up. I don't know if
Yeah.
people saw
Oh yeah.
that.
Well,
I
that's
caught that
later.
at 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, oh my God, I got it. Reference.
So do we know, has it been revealed, are all the Mandalorians, are these like members of the Mando Mercs? Are these fans that John and Dave have recruited? Are they stunt people? Are
Mhm.
they cast?
I haven't heard a word in that direction.
Yeah, I didn't know. It's been I haven't heard either. I've been like listening out as to did they build all of these specifically for this, which they may have, is with the kind of role that they play in a few minutes here. They may have had to, but
I loved Pez's monologue here. It was great.
absolutely. Yeah, Spencer is, how much bribery are you going to have to give Tate next time that you see him to get him to write that whole deal down?
You do have a
Like the
point.
monologue.
Right. Getting to it. Was everyone excited about the Mando drop?
Yes.
Well, we saw that in the trailer. We're like, ooh,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
happening?
Wait for
You can
that.
smell it coming this whole episode. You can just
Whose
smell
ship
it.
is that they're dropping out of?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that was
it
the
only makes
exciting
sense
part
now
for
that
me,
we know.
that we know that it's Bo's ship now. We know that that's what
Yeah.
Totally.
that Mando
Totally.
type of fighter that we've seen since Clone Wars. That's what it's for. You can be heroes. See, there's the next quote for Katie on helmets and stuff too. You can be heroes.
Okay, so you went from Navarro in season 1 looking like this to cleaning it up to basically in one night, Marty decides he's going to take his crew and destroy this thing, and it goes back to season 1 Navarro.
Can't have nice things.
Look at that. That window.
Yeah. Trash the place. You'd think. I mean, unless the
And-
idea is just to use it, drink, and then leave, they
Right.
could have maybe
Well,
not
this is what I'm
trashed
saying.
it
Is
quite
why
so
are the
hard.
pirates so obsessed in drinking in a school?
I
Looks
love
like they took their jugs in there just to make a point.
Yeah.
it. They're so drunk over there.
Unless those kids were hiding jars of hooch in their desk.
Yeah, there you go.
They shouldn't do
Science
that.
experiments.
Yeah.
I also love how in the N1 does show up. You know how like Clint Eastwood has his the good, the bad, and the ugly. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Mhm.
Very much.
When you see the N1 come like every time, so it's like almost like Mando has his own trope of entrance, like just like an Eastwood.
Right. Yeah, they pulled that when he hit the beach to shoot the alligator.
Mm-hmm.
Makeup artist who applied my makeup was in the warthog outfit.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, one thing that when we were talking about Andor earlier, that I was
There you are.
yeah,
There's that guy.
I was critical of the fact that there weren't that many aliens in Andor. It was mostly humanoid
Right.
in all aspects of the show. And then when I started watching the new season of Mandalorian here, I was like, wow, there's a lot of aliens. And it almost got to the point where it's like too many aliens.
Yeah,
That could
flipped
never
it.
happen.
I love that little fake out.
Oh, that was
I
amazing.
love the ship mounted camera ideas when they're
Oh, yeah.
flying around. And they also did that on the helmet of a Mandalorian who's flying past the explosion.
Right.
Some really innovative cinematography this year.
There we go.
Oh yeah. That's pretty badass.
Again, the fact that it's Bo's ship just makes it that much cooler. I love how the little Babu Frick dudes are just killing.
So you mentioned they shot all space battle stuff kind of toward the end and fast. Is all that like cockpits on the volume?
We were not on the volume for that. I was really hopeful because I'm obsessed with that technology. We were, I think, green or blue on a big stage with a screen behind. And yeah, we shot both chunks of that over the course of the same day, just changing the lighting setup for the daytime arrival versus the space battle in one. But at the time, like, I hadn't even expected to come back, so I didn't really know how it was going to fit in. I saw a piece of an animatic of the asteroids for the first chunk, so I had some sense of it, but on the day, had no clue what this was going to be like. This is awesome.
So does anybody else think Misty's Ugnaught right there looks like Smee?
Oh yeah,
He's a bit Smee-ish.
Unending like Disney callback. Like it's gotten to Disney vlogs and stuff as opposed to even just Star Wars vlogs. It's gotten that far. They're like, wait, Smee, then the man.
So
I loved what they did with this canyon run thing. You know, Vane's so excited, like, you're not going to get away again. Hey, get back here.
Now this is pod race.
Badass.
Yeah, anytime they throw in a trench run type piece, it's always entertaining. This is fun with the Kowakian monkey lizards in the tree.
They went that
helping.
way.
He's helping.
Yeah.
Did you do your voice on there, or is that dubbed?
For Vane?
Same thing. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was me. Thank goodness.
That's very cool. It's always
sometimes
nice
you know when you're doing full makeups like that, you have giant teeth and you never get good audio on set. And then after the fact, it's just easier to pick up whoever to dub it over. So I was hopeful, didn't really know for sure, and was happy to.
You did ADR too, or did you just? Was it all on set?
We did one day of ADR to I think add a line, tweak a line, and then change one read of a line, but not too much.
That's good. Look at this. This is like, here we go. Big guns.
Oh, yeah. Here comes
nice.
Heavy, just boom.
It's great to see the use of all the arsenal of weapons that they carry. That's one great thing about Mando earlier on with whistling birds and different things.
Mm-hmm.
But the grappling hook cable thing is really cool always. Oh, that's a big gun.
Yeah, and I really
that
enjoyed
hurts.
how interspecies they made the pirates. You know,
but they're like
everything.
They're the historically sort of questionable. You know, they're all species that tend to be the bad guys, which is kind of stereotypical, but it works. They're the scary looking guys.
So what's your thoughts? Did you prefer the Razor Crest or did you like the M1?
I get that the N1's sexy and it's really fast, but I do wonder how they go to the bathroom when they're in hyperspace taking naps and like how are they making a sandwich? You know, I like the space. I like that he had his gun locker, some
Oh, yeah.
storage.
We finally
That's
saw
some great
a
stuff.
a bathroom in Star Wars. In the first
Yeah.
scene with Lucio walking around the
Yes.
press. So
Oh, go armorer. I love this armor.
Yeah.
Oh, the hammer throw right to the
Yes.
noggin. The pincher grab. She's
Yeah.
got great moves in this.
Boink. And homie's just, oh.
it's again, it's really cool. I love how like you see how it's attached to the banister. Like it's
Mhm.
almost like
Kind of reminded me of Return of the Jedi, like on Jabba's barge, like those railing mounted machine gun things. As far as the ships go, I love the Razor Crest. It was kind of weird and lumpy, but like had its own personality. I hope they find a happy medium for yet another ship. Like the N1's a snappy little sports car, but I feel like, if he's moving up in the world and he might need a bigger batter. Surfing the ship down is
That's
awesome.
so cool.
You need something with a docking bay for the N1.
Perfect. Yes, he needs like a sleek RV with his little N1 port. Vane, you coward. Yes.
It's like
You live.
I love
Yeah,
this.
right.
This giant wheel to steer the ship is such an amazing ship, addition that they just makes it so much more piratey.
so I'm going to shoot the lava flow because that that makes sense.
Yes.
That looks so good.
Unload. Look at that.
Yeah, the
Going
kind of
down
ship
with the
going
ship.
down is very like Independence Day.
Ah.
Beautiful effects.
Oh,
Beautiful atmosphere.
Yeah, they don't pull punches in this show when it comes to most of the I'd say 99% of the effects. Whereas in some of the other productions they were a little iffy here and there.
Snuffleupagus.
Yeah, well, and even like Obi-Wan had some, video gamey scenes here and there and weird stuff that they did, but they really do it right on this show.
Well, and look at the number of people in this scene here. I mean, granted, it's a whole town. You could get all and go, well, there should be more, but there's plenty. That's a lot of people.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's where they did that one complaint I had about that early scene of them on the shore before the crocodile turtle thing attacks, is that there's some movement in that scene that looks like they added extra Mandalorians that were CG that I didn't appreciate as much. But
Here we go.
other than that,
Here's the tribute.
To the Bullet
there we
Canyon.
go. Bullet Canyon. There it is. That's amazing. Got to throw in Jeremy's name drop.
That was cool.
When they did a Catwell class Star Cruiser in Andor.
I heard, what is that one? That made sense. I heard it somewhere on the internet, but I forgot what it was. What's the Cantwell?
Cantwell was one of the designers for a lot of the ships in the original trilogy, and that was a design they did not use, and they brought it back
Right.
and they call it the Cantwell class ship.
Very nice.
With those giant tractor beam things on it or whatever. Was that the one?
Yeah, big satellite dishes.
Yeah.
So here's the
That was
thing.
a phenomenal scene.
Oh,
So
yeah.
how great was this that they went back to the original theme when Mando was walking through to the covert in season 1?
Mhm.
Well, and I like the explanation now that they are leaving forges all over the universe, and Tate doesn't have the big giant space truck and having to like lug this thing around.
They got the camping version of the forge, so they can take it with
Yeah.
them. Yeah, I did kind of feel like that this was the same forge that they had on that meeting
The
of
space platform.
yeah, that ring thing.
Yeah, they did have to kind of nudge that into place and chain it down. It must have come from somewhere.
Mhm.
And this is some of the best like interactions, the interactions we've been waiting for since Bo-Katan got introduced into Mandalorian, is having Emily and Katie having scenes together.
This felt very like, I don't know, kind of
Called into the principal's office.
right here, that line. It's like, it's a trap.
Yeah.
What do I do? Do I do it and then, or should I not do it?
Like, wait. And then she's like, you respect my station. Station?
You must respect my authority. And she's
Nice
not
moment.
Like, where is she going with this? But it was very
a
strategic.
complete 180 from where she was like an episode.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of checking her ambition, checking her ego, seeing a different way, perhaps.
This is also the way.
And
Fun
she seems to be okay.
character.
I love the humbleness of Bo-Katan. Now, part of me is still like kind of like skeptical because she's with the sword, but same time, it's kind of like she seems like very humble about everything that's going around her right now.
Very curious to see where they take her. Clearly an important character, and she's really nailing it too. I love how badass she was with the Darksaber when she was saving Mando's ass from the spider bug monster.
Mando barely hold it, and then she was so slick against that Grievous.
It was great. She's clearly the one who should have hold of it when she's ready.
Right. What makes you also want to believe or hope that one of the Mandos that Bo-Katan goes to look for is Sabine Wren.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be kind of interesting. Nice little tie-in to get ready for Ahsoka.
Oh yeah.
Everybody here's like, what the actual F?
It's like, where is she going with this? What is she? Is she
Well,
trying to
I
set her up?
love-
What's she doing?
And how many are going, wait a second, she gets to do that and we don't?
Yeah, that's the other thing. Is what are
Is
they?
this a new thing?
Out in the armor, just with body position, because you can tell that they're going, especially Den right there is going, what the hell?
He's like, we went swimming, we were redeemed, and now you can take your helmet off?
Yeah.
What the hell is that quest about?
With perfect hair as well.
Phenomenal how that happens.
Yeah, they have the opposite of helmet hair. They have like a built-in sort of like one of those old school hair salon dryer things.
I love how Paz just looks at Din and is like, are you sure about this? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, cool.
Slow push in.
Mm.
Yep. There it is. Dropping a little, going for the hero shot. She knows it.
Dun, dun.
Great. Great way to end that.
I thought that was the end of the episode.
There's more.
Yeah. And I was like, wait a second, what's this?
Well, that could have been the end of the episode, but yes, the more was just like,
It was very kind of integral. We kind of set up a little bit of this earlier on.
When I saw
Who's
this,
going to say it first? Who's going to say it first? Aliens.
right?
like, don't do it.
Arnold,
We've
so much
seen this
style.
movie before. Don't do it.
We saw the face huggers in season 2, so during the chowder scene. So
That reveal
right.
with him turning on his headlights was reminiscent of Jaws as well, when they're under the water for looking.
Now, I did not see this coming to begin with. I was thinking, because the way they've done this, I was thinking we were about to get like live action Bad Batch, that this was the Marauder broken down.
Oh,
or
fun.
something.
Oh wow.
And I was like, what?
well, this
Another great
It's a
ship
different
design.
style shuttle. It's a different one.
a lot of parallels. We were talking about this earlier. There's a lot of parallels between this past season of Bad Batch and Mandalorian, like at the same time. The timing is actually fantastic.
I love this. That little dooflachi is like
Adding that
was
bit of
slick. That was a
cachet
cool
to
idea.
what that actually does.
Well,
You
you
know.
mean like the thing that kept on, when Kenner R2s that kept on falling off?
And why
Those
not give them
float
all
around.
features? One could be an espresso machine. Could do a lot.
Yeah. He
Well,
is.
floating bodies in there.
Yeah,
Well, that's
pretty
also
creepy.
very Jaws right there too.
Yeah, that's Jawsy. That's the other thing was. But this also kind of harkens back to earlier episodes of Andor when he goes and discovers the bodies in the ship before he gets taken by Mara.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There we go. There it is.
Yeah.
Love the lasers. Zhoo.
So creepy with that atmospheric thing going on inside there, like smoke or whatever it is. Space vapor.
Beep beep. Oh, here it is.
See that.
And then Sigourney Weaver wakes up.
Or you see the cat.
That would have
That'd be great. God, if there was like a Jones cat in a little glass
Jonesy
tube.
making a cameo.
There it is. Dun dun.
That was cool.
Excellent episode.
Very exciting.
It's very, very cool. And so many things, because I know that there's been a lot of theories out there. You know, was this an inside job with the Mandos being framed? Is it the Mandalorians who are still very loyal to
Mm.
the ways of
Mhm.
Maul when he had the dark saber? There's just so many different elements of this, where this can go. And it's hard to believe as well is that we have 3 more episodes left in the season. It feels
Only
like
3?
yeah.
I was going to
5.
ask. I don't think I knew how many there were going to be.
Yep. This
So
was
what to
number
the rumors
5.
that Christopher Lloyd was going to join the season? Then is he going to be a big something at the end of the season?
I don't know, but I know he has signed a Comic-Cons. He already signed prints of like cast pieces, so he's not saying no.
Really interesting.
I mean, the joke he's a man DeLorean, so he's gonna have like the Back to the Future type of.
and a DeLorean.
Perfect.
But this artwork is fantastic. I mean, I love the coffee table books they put out for every season of just
Have
his
they
artwork.
already?
Not
They
for
don't
this
have to read yet, but I have.
It
season
seemed
one.
like that had to be. It was inevitable, and now that I know they're actually there, I need to grab because the stuff
Yeah.
is beautiful. I mean, no vein yet. I'm not gonna lie. I was a little sad about that.
We are now waiting for your Black Series figure. We are.
Definitely.
You know what? I was just in New York. I just went to Forbidden Planet? I was looking around. I'm like, oh yeah, right. He must be one of those guys at some point. I just saw the Lego with the snub fighter not too long ago. I thought that was a pretty big deal for a kid.
Look at this cast right here. You got Misty listed, then Dave, Rick, Deborah, Steve, Tate, and Marty. And then you got Shirley and Max is back as well. So you got like a really good crew listed there.
So shows Misty was the bartender. And
Nice.
Somebody else played the pirates. But they're very reminiscent of Kuehl and other characters. So
Because if you look on the next
page, I think it says that there's a different one for the body actor.
yeah.
Oh.
Which is interesting. So Bo-Katan was Joanna Bennett, who was the female Tusken.
Oh yeah.
He was awesome.
And Tom O'Connell, who was the double for Paz, was the action Vader in Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
Makes sense. That was cool.
The armor stunt double, I assume, in the balcony scene there is Jesse Kraft again.
Yes.
Yep. I noticed that as well.
Dawn is a desk jockey.
Yeah, if you go down performance artist for Pirate Coxswain.
Yeah. So did she voice the character of the bartender or did she do both?
So like her and Chris and a bunch of the crew are in Germany this weekend, and they were posting pictures of this episode. But it's nice, it's nice to see, JJ, Ryan, and JJ's wife is listed. Such a good crew. Like,
Yeah, but Marty, like seriously,
Hey.
how excited are you that you're still alive?
That was a pretty phenomenal moment. I mean, I'd always hoped. I was overjoyed just to get to be involved in this thing. I was thinking like one and done, great. I will absolutely take it, no problem whatsoever. But on the day, that was a bizarre gift.
Well, what
Immensely grateful. Like, what a fun character to get to pad out and play a little more.
And
I myself, after that being the only one, that gets my hopes up for like seeing you again someday, like with Hondo.
Right?
Oh, that would be awesome.
I mean,
he flew off. He flew off. There's something going on.
Exactly. I mean, first and foremost, when you got a character that you got to originate, it's your voice doing it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's just it's a dream. And I know that there's like 1,000,001 rumors out there that the pirate crew are the villains for Skeleton Crew. So we'll have to see if that's actually.
Oh yeah, I heard that one the other day too. Right.
Which would be
that'd be fun.
But yeah, I mean, what would you tell your 70 right now, knowing everything you know?
My God. My 7-year-old self wouldn't believe it. There's no way. It was too far removed from reality at the time. And like, even now as a fan watching this stuff, I'm watching it with some of the memories of the day, but when I'm looking at it, I'm just enjoying it completely as a fan. Then I think I watched it a second time and I was like, okay, what was I doing? Could have, doing the actor critical, could have done that a little better. Why'd they choose that take, or, whatever the critical things are. But I mean, I'm a 52-year-old kid and it's dream gig, dream property, love being involved in it. And everyone there, I've heard rumors of like people on crews and different shows. And like, I think it's internet drama because everyone involved in those episodes that I was involved with seemed to be having the time of their life. Like, I think they all know what an absolute gift it is to be able to play in that sandbox.
Well, also think about this is that, as a child of the original trilogy, and once we had Jedi, we had 16 years of nothing.
Right.
And now we have material out the wazoo.
Treasure trove.
Yeah.
Don't have to wait anymore for Star Wars. I mean, right now,
the
past couple of years, we've had 1 million Marvel TV shows and films going on. And this year has 2 or 3 Star Wars properties, then 2 or 3 cartoons as well. And who knows what's gonna come out of Celebration, but it's just like, it's incredible to see what they are able to do with the property. And fill out the blanks.
Sure.
There's
a lot of people seem to complain like about oversaturation. What is that? Like, I think it's wishful thinking that we could go back to those days where we'd have years in between. What was this 2-year wait for this season of Mando? I was dying. Like,
yeah,
come
exactly.
on, bring it on.
When they said that, like when they gave the next season's going to come out, and whenever, it's like, no, sooner.
You look at that,
yeah.
So it's set were the ones where Mando was involved.
Well,
right. Those were fun. Was that season 2.5?
Yes, that's exactly what Craig calls it. But this was been absolutely fantastic, Marty. It's an honor to have had you on our show, and
thank you guys.
We were talking about this off air as well, but the fact that you actually, when I first spoke to you, that you knew about what we did, it made me feel great about the fact that the work that we're doing. And it also makes us feel as fans one step away from Star Wars. Like, you're in Star Wars. You feel like we're
all fans, man. We're all fans.
It's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. We're like,
yeah.
2 degrees of Star Wars.
Close enough to Grogu to almost touch his cute little green nose. I did get to meet him, by the way, in full makeup. I got to meet him. He's so
when you first saw him.
Fans live.
It was nuts. I was standing there waiting for the different, like, we'd shot the first chunk on me and he wasn't there. Then when it was time to turn around and shoot that direction, they brought him out and I was freaking out. And Ian, the makeup artist gentleman who was in the warthog suit as well, he's like, go talk to him. I said, what do you mean go talk to him? He's like, you're in the scene with him. Go talk to him. Like, oh, I know what you're doing, and I will. I'll take you up on it. I walked over, just kind of was inspecting him and looking at him, and then suddenly his ear twitched. And he came to life, and the guys saw me coming, and they brought him up, and I was like,
Very much.
Then I remembered what I looked like, and I looked over, and of course, everyone else is looking at what was happening in front of them too. Delightful moment.
It reminded me a lot. There was a story most recently at the ET reunion that Drew Barrymore, they had a puppeteer by ET at all times in case Drew Barrymore went over and start talking to it. So the fact that
genius.
Because your little girl, they didn't want her to get out of character. Right. But the fact that grown ass people like yourself are doing the same exact thing when you see the child, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's one of those magical things, the design, the execution, what they're putting into his act, everything has come together, and he's utterly believable, and he just hits you in that spot.
He's one of the best practical effects that has come along in a long time.
Yeah.
So with all our guests, we do a sort of like a this or that kind of questioning. Dave, do you want to start that off?
Okay.
I'm sorry, me?
Dave, do you know what I'm talking about?
Because I was gonna say that'd be hard. Go for it.
No, you've totally like stumped me at the moment.
Okay. Who would win in a fight, Bo-Katan or the Armorer?
Bo-Katan or the Armorer?
Mm.
That's an interesting one. They're kind of BFFing it right now, but
say the same thing.
I think Armorer with her
that hammer,
with her close quarters ability and the double-handed business, she could hold her own. But then we saw Bo-Katan, if she's got the Darksaber on her side. I mean, that's really what it's going to have to come down to. It's going to have to be Darksaber versus Armorer's Beskar tools, if it comes to that. I'm going to call an even draw. Non-committal, even draw.
Okay, so we're going to flip the coin on that one. Who would win a fight? Katie or Emily?
I don't know, nor will I guess.
Because then
you're not going to catch me with that one.
So do you want to do the last or could the one that you always love to ask?
I really don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Ewoks or
Jawas?
Ewoks or Jawas?
I don't love to ask that one. Can't everybody just get along?
Dave, the peacemaker. I like it.
Yeah.
Ewoks or Jawas?
Yeah.
Boy, tricky. I think the Jawas are pretty scrappy and scrappy. I think they certainly used to struggling through harsh conditions, living out there in the desert, wearing robes and sweating it out, covered in fuzz. Ewoks, maybe they've got an easier time. They're just kind of kicking it in tree houses in the forest. I'm going to go Jawas with that one.
Oh, nice.
Plus, they have, weaponry, unlike sticks and rocks. Jawas it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Marty. This has been an absolute treat to have you on our show. And if we end up seeing Vane again, we would ask, or any other characters you do, we'd love to have you back on our show.
Love to join again. Thank you, gentlemen. And I will see you at Celebration. I'm going. I think Vane's young enough from this series. He didn't have a real need to be there, but as a fan, I had a need to be there. So I'm going to go wander around and just lurk, see what's up.
So, after we go to the show, we're going to continue to talk.
Okay.
So,
I'll hang.
Yeah. But Dave, anything you want to close out with?
Big no from Dave.
Dave, are you buffering?
Absolutely. Join us this weekend on. Breaking up. Yep, there. Join us this weekend on the Virtual Cantina Network. Saturday, we have our last news desk before Star Wars Celebration to help you prepare, be a little bit something to get you in the mood for those of you who will be traveling at that point. And Sunday, we'll have the review of some of the latest of the High Republic comics. And people, don't forget to join us here on the Virtual Cantina Network next week. A lot of our members and our hosts are going to be in London, but Jeff and I, as well as Ashley and some of our other people, are going to be holding down the fort here at home and continuing to give you the Star Wars content during Star Wars Celebration, using our people as kind of field reporters.
Jeff, anything to close out with?
Well, Monday, I'm sure Monday is going to be insane on Rebels Revisited, because we had a Rebel visit in this episode.
This is your upcoming show, Rebels Revisited.
So we have a show on Mondays called Rebels Revisited with Mark Bono and Ashley Brienzo, and they are going to be freaking out over seeing Zeb. So you know, and any of that kind of connection with these live action shows, we're all about on that show. So tune in Monday for that. And, you know, I look forward to what we can hear and see from Celebration next week, and what Dave and I and Ashley can, you know, inform you guys about, that you probably have already heard, but we'll see. We'll wrap it up.
So once again, we're very excited about seeing everybody in London during Celebration. Don't forget, next Wednesday, we have the Not So Virtual Cantina at the Aloft, right next to the Excel Center, and then Bunta Eve on Thursday night, and then we've got Celebration. So once again, Marty, thank you very much for joining us this evening. And from Dave, from Marty,
Thank you,
Jeff,
gentlemen.
saying, this is the way. And we'll see you in London.
This is